So today, yeah, I called this this session "Once Upon a Time the EU Created MDR." So I wanted to make a bit of fun, if I can say, of the situation. So I created a story. So I just wanted to share with you a story, and the idea is also that we are discussing about the situation, and maybe you have also had some of those situations within your company.
Is it a
And
tragic comedy?
sorry.
Is it a tragic comedy?
Maybe I made it like a story for more children, but if I can say with some
Okay,
characters.
I
So
may
to
be
make
able
it,
to follow along then. Please
yeah,
continue.
exactly. So let's start first by telling you the characters of the story. So we have a manufacturer, which is a manufacturer mainly, and it's a determined and resourceful entrepreneur. Mani is always up for a challenge, but is often frustrated by the endless bureaucracy. So he's dressed in practical work-ready attire. Mani is the embodiment of innovation and perseverance. So really the guy that wants to do a lot of things. Then we have the second character, which is Ned Body, Ned is a meticulous and somewhat pedantic wizard, whose job is to ensure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. With a penchant for nitpicking, Ned is often seen with a massive stack of scrolls, looking hurried and overworked. And we have the last actor of this is mainly a regulator. Reggie is a high-ranking official in the commission responsible for creating and enforcing the rules with an air of authority and a desk buried under paperwork. Reggie is well-intentioned but often out of touch with the practical realities faced by Manny and Ned. So
I'm
the idea
already
here is,
amused. I'm already amused, which
sorry?
is important. I'm already amused. So
Great.
please.
So the idea here is that we are discussing about the situation of those manufacturers, those notified bodies, and those regulators or commissions, how they are working together. And the first thing I wanted to share is mainly the situation where we are creating this journey of EUMDR. And so the story starts like that. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, the wise and somewhat quirky rulers of Europe decided their ancient scrolls of medical device laws, known as the MDD, needed a facelift. We need something more modern, something with a little sparkle, they declared. And thus they conjured up the shiny new medical device regulation, a magical shield of safety and effectiveness. Behold the MDR, they announced with a flourish as fireworks inexplicably exploded in the background. So mainly here, I wanted to ask maybe the audience that are facing EUMDR, were you happy or not happy when the EUMDR was created? Or were you like, oh, it's great that we have some changes, or mainly, no, it's not great at all?
Alexandros, there in Greece. How have you been responding to MDR?
You're
Yeah,
on mute, Alexander.
we had some user error going on with him last time too.
Click yes,
There we go.
now I am unmuted. Good evening to all, and thank you for the pass. I will answer what the MDR has brought. Yeah, I will tell you what I hear from German podcasts, from international podcasts in general. It was for one good reason. Yeah. Also, Monir has mentioned that very often in his podcast, Your Institute, all the good sources that we have in LinkedIn. It came for one good reason. It has brought one situation that at the moment one manufacturer doesn't know how much it will cost him and how long it will take him. And at once we want to navigate with the European Foundation money projects direct to 510K. And of course, startups wants to save money and they want to eliminate every scenario with the de novo. So the MDR brought high costs, and I don't tell you something new. You have heard that also in other podcasts. Big giants can come good through, middle-sized companies, small companies have that very difficult, and that's why we see one fusion. What I also, and last but not least, to finalize my opinion, I hear from many recruiting companies that at the moment the market in European medtech sector is in one art, yeah, I have needs, but I don't decide finally to hire someone. Because we come in the first point, they don't know how much it will take time to certify one product. And we hear yesterday from Dr. Yona, also the opinion from the MDC director in Stuttgart, 38 months for one final certification, technical file, review, QMS. So imagine what for pragmatic time, total time we are talking now. Yeah, of course this generates one this situation. Yeah, they need people, they need to go forward, but the regulations they are coming again and again through the months, which increase the dangers that we will miss one during the development one standard. Yeah, and of course the notified bodies, Monir has mentioned that so often also in his podcast. They need very long time. Yeah, we have submitted with the company Medicine now in September 2 technical files. Still, we don't have any answer, nothing. So the notified bodies need trainings. The notified bodies, this story, Mr. Dr. Vollbrecht, yeah, has brought that in the German government. Yeah. We don't need recertification every 5 years. This brings one bureaucracy without added value. The PMS ensures that we have safe devices, that we have state-of-the-art devices. That's why you can imagine, OITAMED, we don't have it. We present pragmatic solutions for in government level, and of course, this extension didn't brought the solutions, because still, as Monir again and again has mentioned also, dear Monir, notified bodies still hire people. Also, Dr. Yona mentioned, yeah, we have a lot of capacities now. We have a lot of notified bodies. Yes, but how long they need? How long they need to because imagine even a technical review, yeah, QMS review, and then everything is fine, and still it costs 4 months time to get your certificate. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, so I think the answer from Alexandros is it's not good at all. But you summarized some of the pieces that I wanted to share also on this story, because yeah, there are a lot of things that could have been improved, and I hope this will be learned. I think there will be some lesson learned here for some of the actors and also for the regulators here. So next one, mainly on the next part of the story. So the path to implementing the MDR turned out to be as predictable as a cat on a hot tin roof. The timelines for compliance danced around like a jittery squirrel, leaving everyone scratching their heads. Mani would ask, "Are we there yet?" only to find the deadline has moved again. It was like chasing a mischievous pixie through an enchanted forest. Just when you thought you had it proof, it was gone. Mani sighed. How can we plan when the goalposts keeps moving? So mainly here, as you've said, Alexandros, the manufacturers were also a bit disappointed because the rules are always changing. So we start with a certain rule, and then we move to another rule, and it's getting more and more complicated. Before it was easy, and now you have to pass a lot of tests or questions or things to understand if you can go or not to the MDR, which makes everything for manufacturers really, really, really complicated. So next is, as our heroes journeyed deeper into the land of MDR, they stumbled upon a book so thick it could double as a doorstop. This book filled with MDCG guidances, implementing acts, and delegated acts seemed to grow heavier with every passing day. I swear it wasn't this heavy yesterday, grumbled Manny. Straining under the weight, decipherating the book was like trying to assemble flat pack furniture without instructions. Frustrating, time-consuming, and guaranteed to leave you with a few spare parts. Ned added, and don't forget, each new page makes my job harder too. So the story here is more about, we also promoted the EU MDR to say that we will make it more easy to understand. There will be more clarification on each of the requirements, more understanding of how you will have to apply all this. And the problem is that if it was true, they will not have to create all those guidances. So we have more than 60, 70 guidances that are created now for each case, for nearly each chapter. There are more guidance. There will be at a certain point more guidances than chapters of the EU MDR. So mainly this makes everything more complicated for everybody, because when you read the MDR, you understand something. And when you go to the guidance, you understand something else. So at the end, it's also making a bit difficult the life of the manufacturers, but also about the notified bodies, because notified bodies have to apply what is also written on the guidances. So NetBody, the notified body wizard, was buried under mountains of scrolls and parchments. Why didn't we hire more help? He groaned. Has fees soared higher than a dragon's fly? Many felt like they were being asked to trade gold for pixie dust. Are we paying for the certification or the wizard's retirement fund? He wondered aloud. The weight of responsibility and the escalating costs were crushing their spirits. We are trying our best, but it's never enough, sighed Ned, looking more tired each day. So on one of our episode also that we have made, I had Stefan Bollinger that was on the episode that says to me that there was in Austria made a survey about the cost of notified bodies, and we had some companies that had to pay 5 million for a notified body certification. And we are all like astonished and say, what, 5 million? It was like, who is this company and what are they paying for exactly? Because yes, it costs really, really a lot. And it's at a certain point, as said Alexandros also, that yes, maybe big companies like Johnson & Johnson, whoever, can maybe pass through it. But like small companies, they will really struggle to have this budget to be certified. I mean, as I said, there is maybe a good reason for paying 5 million, but for me, I never saw that. So it's why when I saw this, we saw this survey, it was like surprising, and we see that, yeah, it's the reality for many. Then, as if the path wasn't tricky enough, along came two mischievous spirits. So Brexit and Swixit. These troublemakers build walls and barriers faster than you could say regulatory nightmare. Why are there suddenly so many fences? Asked a bewildered Manny, staring at the newly erected walls. Navigating these barriers was like trying to herd cats. Frustrating, chaotic, and occasionally involving a lot of hazing. Regulator tried to downplay the chaos. We'll get through this, just follow the rules. But the disruptions were undeniable. So here we have also to understand that before MDR, and before, I mean, long time before, the European Union was one. So we had Europe, we had UK, we had Switzerland all together. So you needed one notified body, one authorized representative, one importer for going on those three regions. Now we have a separation. So if you want to go to Europe, you need an authorized representative in Europe, an importer in Europe, and a notified body. If you want to go to the UK, you have to have an authorized representative in UK, an importer in UK, and an approved body in the UK. And if you go to Switzerland, you have to have also an authorized representative and an importer in Switzerland. So mainly divided by three, the efforts for manufacturers that are trying to register or to sell their products in the region. So this was not due to MDR, but mainly this didn't help at all. This is more due to some politics that made this change. Then, tired of the constant twists and turns, many heroes decided to seek their fortunes in a far-off land known as the United States. At least their rules don't change as often as the weather. Money reasoned, and so they set sail, leaving the tangled woods of the EUMDR behind, saying good luck. They called to those who stayed, "We'll be back once we've conquered the new world." The shift felt like abandoning a sinking ship, but the promise of stability was too tempting to ignore. So we have also a lot of manufacturers that are now really thinking, why should I struggle that much? Why should I go to this route of EUMDR? Why don't I just go to the US market, which is stable and everything is working? It's cheaper also. It's not like costing that much, and the rules are set and everybody knows them. So there is no kind of change here. And there is also the difference with Europe is the fact that you can do a pre-submission, which means that you can contact notified body, discuss with them of your strategy and agree with them, which is something that you cannot do in Europe. So we have a lot of companies that are now saying, okay, let's put Europe as a second market, and let's go first for US. And the problem here is that then all the innovative products will be first arriving to another market than coming to the European Union, which can be a problem for the patients and for the people that are in Europe. So despite the challenges, our heroes remain hopeful. Gathered around a grand round table, they shared tales of their adventures and plotted a course for the future. "We've come this far," said Manny. "We can surely find a way to make this work." Ned added, "We just need a little more clarity and support." Reggie finally listened, nodded. "We'll try to do better. Together, we can make the MDR's magical shield truly protect all." And so, with a mix of optimism and sheer stubbornness, they continued their quest to ensure the MDR's magical shield protected all and allowed innovation to flourish. And so our story continues, filled with laughter, frustration, tears, and occasional bursts of brilliance. By sharing our thoughts and discussing our challenges, we can help shape the future of the MDR and ensure a safer, more innovative environment for all. And so here is the story. Try to summarize with this mainly all the problems that we had with the EUMDR. But yeah, trying to see also that there is some maybe hope at the end of the channel, and yeah, looking forward for it. So wanted to hear more about you now to see if you are experiencing the same, or if you maybe are now afraid maybe to go to Europe due to all those issues that we have.
Phenomenal. And I don't know if you heard me or if my internet's breaking up. Did I break up?
No.
I did. Yeah. I'm making Marin co-host because my internet connection is not that great here at the hotel. I don't know if you heard anything I said.
No, I didn't hear anything.
We didn't.
No, it was very peaceful.
Thanks, Richard. I just made Marin co-host for this very reason. My internet connection is not the best here. But assuming you can hear me for a moment. Nods, yes. You know what? I'm just gonna
turning off video.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Okay, how about now? Is that any better?
Yes, it is right now.
Okay, please continue.
So yeah, as I said, the question is mainly for all the people that are listening now. So can you share maybe your experience, and do you feel the same as what I've just told today about notified body situation, the cost, or the companies that goes to the US instead of going to Europe or abandoning Europe? Yeah, and all those heavy requirements that are coming from the EUMDR now.
I'll start. First off, this is the first time I've ever smiled and laughed as I was talking about the MDR. So
Okay.
Good job, Moira. I love the way you presented it.
Thank
But
you.
the underlying things that you presented, and also what Alexandros presented, is absolutely correct. We've had clients in the past that came to us that, was interested in the US as well as the European market and so forth. And now quite the contrary, we deal mostly with smaller innovative companies, and each and every one says they just have no interest in dealing with the MDR. They just do not want to get involved with the bureaucracy, the red tape, and everything else that's involved. So as I said from the beginning, when it switched over from MDD to MDR, this is going to be practically a death knell for bringing new technologies from smaller companies into Europe. So, the end of your story was nice, but I don't know if it's going to come true.
It's just to keep some hope.
Yeah, well, I don't know how much hope there is, because they're making such a bureaucratic nightmare, and also a boondoggle with all of these notified bodies and what they charge just for talking to you, and then with no end in sight as to when you're going to get the approval. I can't see how any company that's under billions of dollars would ever be interested in going to Europe. It's just not worth it. And we've heard from a lot of companies that and I'm talking about even middle-sized companies that said they just don't want to deal with it, and they're only interested in US or non-MDR countries.
No, I agree. And as I said, we hear that a lot. We hear some manufacturers that are even startups that never had to register a device before, and it's the first time for them. And when we start to discuss with them and explain to them the situation and how long it takes, etc., they are asking, oh, maybe it's better to go to first US because they are maybe easier to go, etc. And then they ask us to verify that option also. So it's why, yeah, it's something that it's the reality. And in Edge conferences that we are going, we are hearing also that, even during from speakers, if I can say, that are talking, that says, yeah, this makes some companies afraid because they have no clue of the budget, they have no clue of the timeline, they have no clue of anything. So, and a company that has no prediction or that cannot see, if I can say, within the next months, is really afraid. So it's why they say, okay, let's keep that for later, maybe when we'll have better vision here. Anybody else?
Yes, what I can add, dear Monir, and to all the panel, is that the everyday work of one PRC QRA person, it's coming to one complexity, because you have always over you someone which says, okay, Alex, maybe this is a requirement, we will not fulfill that. If we have, for example, one significant change, the MDR requires one notification that we inform the notified body, for example, yeah. And often I have the reaction of one CTO, or let's say CEO, which says, okay, we will come to trouble, maybe this, we will not fulfill that, but then they require your signature, yeah. You must sign that, yeah. So what happens? The complexity of the MDR bring us as PRCs in one status that we get. We receive a lot of resistance. We are the complicators. We are the come fast to the point. Come on, why you make it so complicated, Alex? Yeah. Very often, and I went sometimes from some projects away because I had the feeling that I'm not here. Nobody hears the opinion, or nobody understands that as information what exists there outside, and understands that as my opinion. Yeah. We see, for example, popular people which have startups in the LinkedIn, and they are enthusiastic how much they love their product, and they say, Alex, do the QMS that they don't disturb us. Yeah. So imagine, even from one interpretation from that, the QMS is something complicated. The array, something more complicated. Yeah. And young people, they are enthusiastic about AI, about very modern and innovative technologies. And their implementation, of course, they want to feel necessary for this life science world. They want to get popular. This is human normal needs. Yeah, we understand that. But if we start them, it is very natural, yeah, that somebody wants to be happy for that, what he's doing, and that he publicates that, very proud. But the thing is, How and Monir, you can confirm that? Yeah, we hear, for example, from some companies. It doesn't matter. I can mention names. Yeah, for example, by Ipsomed. Ipsomed, they develop a lot, and not one part of that it's coming to the market. Yeah, why? Because young team, they start to develop. Yeah, they supply, for example, Novartis with syringes. Yeah, so they start. We forget this norm. Okay, DHF, what is that? Then the notified body sends back the technical file. This happens because we don't have only the lack of understanding. We have sometimes the ignorance. Yeah, they ignore. They say this is a complication. And we have also the generation of 60 years old or 70 years old people, which was very much years QA managers. They are leaders. And then we come now to the keyword, leadership. Leaders which doesn't want to hear so complicated stories, and they want to be fast, yeah. And so and they lose, let's say, the structure in which time of the project I need to deliver specific deliverables to one per-sub meeting, for example, as Monir has mentioned. Yeah, what I need for the first per-sub, what I need for the second. They just get lost. And they say, okay, QMS, no, I was, for example, in one other company, they say, Alex, concentrate now in the technical files. We want to submit that. Don't touch my QMS. Don't touch my QMS. I say, excuse me, MDD QMS with MDR tech files. How can it work then? So they believe it will work in some way. Yeah?
It's clear. It's some misunderstanding there on the process, if I can say, on the technical process here. But mainly on the if we do the devil's advocate, if I can say, companies, are they not thinking also on the other way to say, oh, if everybody is not coming to Europe, say, oh, we'll not go to Europe. Is there nobody that says, oh, but maybe then we can get, it will be difficult, but we can get more market share because we'll have a lot of our competitors that are not coming. So is this something that I suppose maybe some companies may think also?
That's a tough one.
No?
I
No.
spoke with a gentleman who spent about 10, 15 years bringing American companies to Europe. All the startups, because MDD, IVDD was so much simpler.
Yeah.
But MDR comes along. He is shifting nearly the same companies back again. Right? I think it's cyclical. There's no way the FDA are just going to sit there and do nothing for the next 10 years. They will also be working on some things to screw people over in the background or help the industry, I mean. On notified bodies, I have a tiny bit of sympathy, which is very unpopular, but I have a tiny bit of sympathy because financially, the investment they have to make to get their certifications is unbelievable. I spoke to one particular one. They had to have dozens of PhD IVDR reviewers sitting there doing nothing for over a year, and that costs. So unfortunately, they're also victims of the MDR because it's the commission that have put this into place. It's the commission that has forced them into this position.
Exactly.
But one anti-notified body thing, we have seen, and we've helped a lot of companies uploading their class 2B, class 3 devices. They're waiting for the certificates. They're not being connected. The notified bodies have to connect them before these devices can become public. And a lot of them are going, well, we don't have to do it now. It's not mandatory. So there's a there's good and bad in it.
Yeah, there is a mix, and as you said, we have on two podcasts ago, if I can say, we have had AFNOR certification, one of the notified body that was just recently certified, and we discussed openly this question about price, and they said exactly the same thing. They said, but it took us 2 years to be certified, and during those 2 years, I had to hire some, as you said, PhD people or people that had to pay a lot of money for doing nothing because we are not certified, so we cannot do anything. So, but we have to have those people available, and they should be hired by us, not just sitting in a kind of a list or whatever. No, they should be on our employees, so that we can be benefiting from this certification and being able to start the job. So yeah, this is one of the reasons. But yeah, sometimes it's also
It
not
hurts.
maybe the main reason. So I hope they are using that maybe a bit too much, but there
Yes.
can be also other reasons to say yeah. Because I suppose there is also the fact that manufacturers have no choice. It's not like they had a lot of choice at the beginning. They were not a lot of notified bodies, and the notified bodies say, oh, but they have no choice. So anyway, if I give them this price, they will not be, they would not do anything. And there is a trick for the price, something that I mean we discover when we are working with them. They are giving you a price, but it's an estimation only. Why? Because the EU MDR says that you have to issue hourly rate for notified bodies. So it means that notified bodies have publicly some hourly rate, like $300, $400 per hour or whatever. But at the end, they say, oh, approximately it will cost you maybe, let's say, $100,000 for certification. But they don't count on this, all the additional review, all the non-conformities that they are raising, and then you have to redo some assessment about that, all the audits that can take a bit longer, all the rounds of discussions, etc. So then you can double or triple the cost just because of that. So they give you just an estimation. So it's also something that manufacturers were not really happy because, as said, we have to budget this kind of thing. So at the end, if you are paying 3 times what you have budgeted, it can be a really big problem for your company.
And nobody does a fixed rate?
No. Only hourly rate. Everybody makes hourly rate only.
I'm in the wrong business.
Yes, what I can, if you allow me, when I was in Medica now in October, when was that, dear Monir? I was in Medica. In Medica is the biggest medtech exposition across the globe, really. Maybe there are some in the US which we don't know, but here in European market, it is the biggest, and it is one good opportunity that many stakeholders are coming and they can have one summit. For example, like this World Summit that has happened by Dr. Yono Institute, I was dear Monir and dear panelists in contact with the medical organizers, and I say, why you don't invite here the European health responsible Mr. Kyriakidou, for example? I heard now that they will change the person. Why you don't invite to understand? Why you don't invite notified bodies? We have spectaries, we have some very good let's say influencers in the medtech, but here it must be understood deeply in political level that we need very focused changes, not just extension to help the problem. The notified bodies need to find one global form, what they require for one MDR tech file. So for example, BSI has another structure. Dear Monir, you can confirm that TÜVSÜD has another. You have to adapt yourself, and you want, for example, you have, for example, MDC from Stuttgart has one very, for many people, how can I say, like it form for the tech file. You start to follow this categorization of topics, and then you see the sharing folder of the notified body requires additional topics. For example, I want to see from you the medical device file. I want to see the DHF. I want to see the DHR. I want to see many deliverables which are something extra. It's not only the technical file, it's the technical documentation. So, and I don't want to get longer in this comment because I don't want to take your time. My final comment, we have, as dear Monir, you have mentioned, synonyms, similar words, different words for the same topic. One norm is talking intended use, intended purpose, medical purpose. And then this is a complication because if you use one different people like us, which has experience, they say, oh, okay, this is just one synonym. So don't get lost on that. But why this norm? I told that also to Dr. Joner. Why they don't make, first of all, the norms more cheap that the people buy. Some companies, they don't have the money to buy the norm. The usability norm for many years didn't have been applied correctly. They just make usability. It should have good surface. It should be good in the hand. That is my usability. Okay, thank you. So no evaluation, no summative, no formative evaluation, no summative evaluation, no user scenarios, and they have passed. They have passed. How they have passed? Because they know that it is complex to renew this usability. So please make the norms more cheap. Please make the norms maybe for free. I don't know. Please, one institute in Germany, if you bring one norm, then make please examples how we can use this norm. Don't you sell the norm for 200 euros and you don't explain how we can use that.
Yeah, I think yeah, the standards are really costing a lot for people that are looking for cheaper standards. There is a website that is the Estonian website, the EVS, that I'm using for purchasing standards, and it's easier. But yeah, I mean the standards are something that can be not helping. I mean helping, but costing a bit too much for the industry. So Josue, I saw that you are here. You disappeared. You're here. Yeah, Josue. Yeah.
Hey Monir,
Hey.
good to see you again. So as a regulatory consultant specialized in Europe, I mean, this sounds really like potentially bad and good for business, right? I can see
Exactly.
both. How are you encouraging your potential clients or your current clients to come to Europe? I see this also, we've experienced this in Mexico with the delays of COFEPRIS, the regulatory agency. You know, when I tell a client it could be 12 months plus minus 5 months, like your registration could be approved in maybe 17 months. That's very discouraging. And we've seen that clients are like, well, I'll start in an easier country in Latin America and then move up to Mexico when things get better. However, if you don't start today, you know, then it's just gonna put back and back and delay your project. So that's one of the things that we try to encourage our clients, you know, start now, things can get better. And so how are you managing that?
So first we are, as I said, we start to have a lot of experience with notified bodies in Europe. So we are giving them the right figures in terms of pricing. We try to really tell them what exactly it will cost with some security, if I can say, because as I said, we have a lot of clients that want just to get a number that is realistic. So we try to give him a realistic number so that at the end, they are not surprised when they receive the invoice or receive the requirements. Because as I said, notified bodies are a bit tricky. They give you an estimation that is a lower estimation so that they can win the customer. But at the end, yeah, it's not really fair for the manufacturer. Second, as you said, so mainly, even if you wait 1 year to start again in Europe, it will be the same timeline, 17 months maybe to be certified, receive the audit and do everything. So starting now or starting in 1 year will be exactly the same for the moment. Maybe we have to wait 4 or 5 years. I think the normalization of the EU MDR will arrive around 2027, 2028, where it will be the end of everything of the transition. So everybody should be now following the rules of EU MDR. But before that, we still have those transition, we still have those struggles, we still have those people that are trying to push for MDR. So this is mainly where we'll have some stabilization. So if they want to come back to Europe, then maybe they have to wait until 2027, 2028 to really start this process, and maybe the numbers will be better. But then they will have lost 4 years, 3 years, 4 years for nothing. But if they start now, yes, maybe they will be making that in 17 months, but then they make it, it's fine. They can go and they can start to sell their products. And it's what I said before, you have some manufacturers that, if you look at all your competitors and everyone drops off the Europe and goes to US, and you are the only one staying in Europe, then you can get a bigger market share also. So there is a lot of things to consider here. And also, if you are a lower risk device, like class 2A, class 2B device, maybe it's easier for you to be on the market because the scrutiny by the notified body will be less. But if you are a class 3 or implantable, yes, this is the part where you will have really a lot of difficulty. It will require you a lot of efforts for being on the market. So these are the elements that we are evaluating with all the products, the customer, etc., to then define the strategy. And at the end, we give them the true picture. We are not trying to make make some consulting project and starting and finding out that it's not working. No, we are trying to give them the true picture, and then they decide. So it's mainly the choice. So my objective is just to tell them, here is the reality. Do you want to do it or not do it? If you want to do it, I'm here. I can help you for everything. We know all the process. If you don't want to do it because you find it a bit more difficult, it's too expensive, it takes too much time, then yeah, you can go to another country.
Thank you. And an additional question, if I may. So has Europe ever had like a government entity that is able to handle registrations, or has it always been outsourced to private entities like notified bodies? Do you see that changing in the future? And also, do you see maybe third-party reviewers or other companies being developed there to help out with the amount of work?
Yeah, so for the first question about the central government that is checking everything, no, it's not existing. Like for pharma industry, we have the EMA, the European Medicine Agency, but we have also the competent authorities of each country that are taking care of that. So this model is not the model that we have in Europe. In Europe, the model is that you have the competent authority that are designating a notified body, which is a third-party company that is designated to do this process of certification. I don't think they will give up with this process for the moment. I heard some people say, oh, we should move to a centralized government like the FDA or whatever, but I'm not seeing that coming soon, maybe really later. But if we do that, it will be really a big change again for the regulation. So we have enough change for the moment, so no need to again move to another level here. And for third-party companies that are helping for reviewing, this is already existing. So notified bodies, they are hiring people, but they are also hiring subcontractors or third-party companies that are doing the work for them. So they are not having 100% of the people that are hired like us, employed by the company. No, they are also taking some suppliers, but they have to do a lot of verification of those suppliers. Those suppliers should not have worked with the companies that they are assessing. Those suppliers should not have also made some consulting activity for some of those companies, etc. So they have also some declaration of interest to provide to verify that there is no conflict here or whatever. But this is already existing, and notified bodies, they could not work without those freelancers or assessors. But the assessors should also show that they have experience with the products, experience with the market, experience with everything. So it's not like somebody coming out of school that can be an assessor from notified body. It has also to have a lot of experience and prove that he is able to assess the products that he will be reviewing.
And the prices, dear Monir, they are sometimes really a pity. Yeah, if you in Europe, capacity as notified body means I can be for you, but it costs. Yeah. So
exactly, but it's why you can choose the big notified bodies, which will be, yes, really expensive, but you can also choose some small notified bodies that are maybe cheaper. But the problem is that maybe notified bodies are cheaper, but maybe they have less resources, so then it will take a bit more time for certification. Or big notified bodies are maybe more expensive, but maybe they have more resources, and then can be taking less time for certification. So all parameters have to be checked. So it's not like an easy choice to do. So it's why I say we give the cards or the information to the manufacturers, and at the end they have to make the decisions by themselves. I cannot tell them do it or not do it, because I mean it's them that will have to go through all this, not me.
And what we also, if you allow me one point, through these applications that the notified bodies receive through the time, they realize some gaps, and they come post later and they say, this category of products, we must see if they are really medical products, yeah, or maybe medicinal products. So, of course, this is not now something that is generated from one problematic situation in Europe. This is the innovation that we have in this sector, yeah. So one example, we came with one decalcifying agent from one dental for dental use for the root canal, yeah, and we have presented as medical device, and then I read in one MDCC this category. We must see if that is really one medical product. So maybe because they have seen our application, or maybe equivalent applications from other companies. And so what means that the predefinition, if one product is a medical device, is still sometimes relative, yeah? And that means maybe some specialist is looking that deeper, and they check the intended use, the intended use. Let's stay on that, yeah. And they say,
Alexandros,
we are not clear. We are not clear. Yeah, yeah.
Just as host, I'm trying to make sure everyone has a chance. I'm going to ask you to continue this conversation with Monir afterward. I want to read something from Luke, who tells me that his connection is worse than mine. He says, if entering the MDR market is so hard, doesn't that mean big opportunities for those who make it?
Exactly. It's the other side, if I can say, the good side is the ones that start early, the ones that put the effort, the ones that have the budget, and the ones that are really motivated to do that will make it. And then, as I said, the door will be open for them for the whole European Union market, and they can sell their device everywhere in Europe without any problem. And this is also a good sesame, if I can say, the CE certificate for other markets than Europe. Yes. You can go to Middle East, you can go to North Africa, you can go to some other countries that accept the CE marking. So yes, exactly. It's maybe something that is difficult. It's why I'm saying that, but if you make it, you can get more market share, and you can also get some kind of good proof of that your product is safe and performant, because it's so difficult to get a CE certificate under EU MDR that if you get it, it proves that mainly you have really a product that is satisfying all those difficult requirements, and countries are really appreciating to see this kind of document. So it's why, yeah, there is also this opportunity to make maybe more money also, but it will be, as I've said, a big adventure with a lot of unknown, a lot of budget, a lot of time. But if you make it, yeah, it will be really a lot of benefit also.
I just want to make one very, very quick comment. You mentioned things might get easier around 2027.
I don't know if it gets easier. It's just notified bodies will have maybe more capacity, so maybe the price can reduce. Maybe also the guidances and the stability of the UMDR will be already known since many years. Because as I've said, actually we have a new guidances that are appearing every month or every week. Maybe in 2027 they will be, if I can say, there will be enough guidances, and there is no need of more. So then it will be a bit more stable. But will it be easier? I'm not sure. It's just that there will be less uncertainty.
There is a European Commission review in 2027, which I can nearly guarantee is going to lead to a lot more pain around 2030.
Okay. So
I just thought I'd share that little bit.
So you should share that with me. I don't know about that, but should share that with me. Yeah. Yes, Sue?
What countries would you recommend starting with? In Europe,
in Europe,
Germany, France, yes.
Germany.
So the countries, to be honest, doesn't matter at all. You can go to whichever country you want, because as said, also it's not the competent authority of the country that will be assessing your dossier and everything. It's a notified body. For example, if you are located in France, you can take a notified body from Italy or from Spain or from Norway or from any other countries in Europe. So it's not the country that is really important. The country, what is important, if I had to select a country, maybe I will take a country that has a lot of languages, like Belgium, or because Belgium has French, Dutch, German. So then you have to have those products in those languages. And if you have those products in those languages, then you can go to France. you can go to Switzerland, you can go to Germany, you can go to Netherlands, you can go to all over other countries because you have already the documentation in the right languages. So this is mainly how it can help you. But for the rest, Europe is Europe. So even if you certify your products in Turkey, it will be accepted in Europe like it is a European country for EU MDR. But there is no specific country where I would recommend to go because it's not making any difference, to be honest.
If you go to Northern Ireland, you get both the UK market and Europe.
It depends, yes, but if you want to get the UK mark, you have to have a UK NI, so UK notify UK NI, so you have to have an approved notified body with that also. So yes, but if you go to Ireland, UK is accepting CE marking until 2030. So it means that you can still sell your device as a CE mark device without changing anything, but you still need to have a UK representative and a UK importer. But for the rest, it's exactly the same products. Even the packaging, you don't need to change. You keep the same packaging and everything. So Ireland, if this is happening in Ireland, but it's happening if you are in France also, if you are anywhere else. So it's mainly that. But yeah, if you are in Northern Ireland, you don't need an authorized representative and importer because you are already in the UK region and you are also in the EU region at the same time. So it's mainly the advantage here. Okay, we are, I think, at the end of the hour. Joe, you are still here?
We are at the end of the hour, but if anyone else has anything to add, or I will thank you because I know how busy you are. I'm grateful that in addition to all the content you already produce, you produced even more with us today. And not only that, but made Andre laugh repeatedly, which I've not seen happen. And he's been part of the better part of 225 episodes. So well done, sir. Well done. Next week, a friend of Luke's is speaking, and he has a company that is manufacturing a wheelchair that lets you sit/erect. So basically a standing wheelchair device, which I think is fascinating, and it's making some nice progress. So if you can, join us next week, and I'll thank you. So for those who, let's see, right before then, those who celebrate Independence Day in America or Canada National Day, enjoy, and I'll see you next week this time when I will be in New Jersey. Maybe I'll broadcast from Andre's place.
Right.
Maybe he'll let me sit in the big chair, and maybe I'll bring a tie. Do you have an extra tie in the office? I wasn't planning on packing a tie.
I've got plenty, don't worry.
All right, just in case. Thanks, everybody. See you next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Monir.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Joe.